All right. So now we will be starting with security model, which is one of the important topics, as I mentioned earlier also. So pay attention, and whenever you have any confusion, any doubt, don't hesitate to ask. All right. So as part of security model topic, we will be covering how to create users in Salesforce, and we will discuss about what is profile, what is permission set. Then we will be going through sharing settings. In sharing settings, again, we have two types of sharing settings: organization wide defaults. In short, we call it as OWD, and sharing rules. And at the end, we'll be going through roles. Let's start with users. Whenever any company purchases Salesforce license for themselves, or the employees of the company want to access Salesforce application. So whichever employee wants to access Salesforce application, for them we need to create users, so that every employee will have the username and password with them, with which they can log into Salesforce and access the application. Now, whenever any employee logs in, not all the employees should have access to everything. We need to manage or control their permissions. So the permissions can be managed with the help of profile and permission set. So whenever we create user, we assign profile to the user, with which user will get basic set of permissions for himself. And then if we want to extend user's permissions, then we go for permission set. So both profile and permission set is used to give permissions to the user, but profile is assigned to a user when we create user, and to multiple users who need same set of permissions, we assign same profile to them. Now, out of those all users, if any user needs additional permission, then we create a permission set and grant additional permission to the respective user. Then comes sharing settings like organization wide default and sharing rule. This is specifically for sharing of the records. As I mentioned earlier, if any user is owner of the record, being owner of the record, user will have access to that record. But if user tries to access other users' records, that depends on the sharing setting. The sharing setting is related to sharing of the data, sharing of the records. And then we have role. So every user should be assigned some role. Role means every company will be having a role hierarchy, like CEO, which is the top level role. Below CEO will be the board of directors, then managers and all. Okay? So that role hierarchy, how to maintain it within Salesforce, we will be discussing it at the end. So let's start with users. For all administrative related activities, we need to be on setup always. Most of the time, administrator needs to use setup page only. In the quick find search box, we can search for users, and under users itself, you will see most of the security related permissions. Okay, so permission set, profiles, your roles, users. So click on this users link, as we want to manage users. So initially, when any company purchases Salesforce license for themselves, then Salesforce will by default create only one user for administrator. Okay, a person who is going to work as a administrator for Salesforce org. So only for that user we will have the user. Now administrator has to log in and then start creating users for all the employees who want to access Salesforce. What he will do, he'll go to users link and then we'll have to click on new user button. Here we will have to fill in all the information about the employee: first name, last name. Based on the first name and last name, alias gets populated. Then email. Based on the email, username and nickname gets populated. So username, if you see, it gets populated same as email, but if you want to change it, you can have a different username also. It's not mandatory to have username same as email. One more thing about username is username has to be unique across all the Salesforce organizations. So two users within all the Salesforce organization cannot have same username, because with username user can log in, so username cannot be same. That too, I am saying it is across multiple Salesforce organization. So for every company we have one Salesforce organization. Like this, let's say there are 5 companies which is using Salesforce. So for every company we have Salesforce org. So we have 5 Salesforce orgs in total. So within these 5 Salesforce orgs, this username has to be unique, not just within one org. Why? Because Salesforce is a multi-tenant environment where Salesforce resources are shared among multiple companies, multiple clients of Salesforce. It's not like every company which uses Salesforce will have or will get dedicated Salesforce resources like server, database, and all. Okay? It's not like that. The Salesforce resources are shared amongst multiple clients. This is the reason Salesforce is cheaper compared to any other platforms, and that is one of the reason why most of the companies are nowadays shifting towards cloud-based platforms, because cloud-based platforms are cheaper because the resources are shared among multiple clients.
Rohit, I have a quick question. If you're still at this page, when you created that email address and you said the username is going to be populated, but you can always change it. Is it necessary to have that Gmail at gmail.com too, or we can only have RP22?
It cannot be gmail.com. Instead of this, you can just put it like g.c, but it should be in email like format. So this is also fine, but it should be in email like.
Oh, it has to be in the email format.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, so this is all about username. Yeah. Rest of the fields, they are not mandatory. The fields where you see red bar over here, these are mandatory fields, so you need to populate those. Okay. Now the fields on the right hand side, the topmost 3 fields: role, user license, and profile. These 3 are very important parameters while creating user: the role for the user license, and profile. So just now I mentioned every company will have the role hierarchy within it, where CEO will be the top level role, below CEO will be the board of directors, then managers and all, right? So in Salesforce, there is already inbuilt standard role hierarchy available, which consists of all the standard roles, which almost every company will be having, like CEO, CFO, okay, finance team, general manager, managing director, all these roles. So which role we need to select over here? So the employee for whom you are creating this user, that employee's role you must be knowing. So let's say that employee's role is CA, chartered accountant. You can assign that role here. Now the advantage of role here in Salesforce is, if any user is higher in the role hierarchy, that user can access the records of its subordinates. For example, let's say Ajay and myself, we both are users in the same Salesforce organization. Ajay is having manager role and I am having associate role. I am reporting to Ajay. In that case, Ajay will be able to access my records, being higher in the role hierarchy, but I may not be able to access his records. This is one of the advantage of role hierarchy, but that again depends on one setting which need to be enabled for every object. We will be discussing about it later on. But in general, for most of the standard object, this is how it works. If any user is higher in the role hierarchy, user can access records of its subordinates. So this is about role. Any questions so far?
No.
Next one is user license. So as I mentioned, whenever any company purchases Salesforce, it's a product. Okay, so any company will be purchasing Sales Cloud or Service Cloud product. Whenever you are purchasing product, you get product license to use. So along with the Salesforce product licenses, you will get a bunch of user licenses with you. And based on the user licenses available for you, you will be able to create users. The user license is a predefined license which decides what all features within the Salesforce product you can access. There are various types of licenses available. We'll just discuss a couple of those which are mostly used. You can just simply search for standard user licenses Salesforce, and here is the help document from Salesforce which describes about standard user licenses. So the first one is Salesforce, which is mostly used most of the times, according to my experience so far. For 80 to 90% of the employees, we need to assign Salesforce license because it gives access to everything within Salesforce. If you have a look at the description, designed for users who require full access to standard CRM, which means this license gives access to all the features within the product. User will have access to all the application, all the tabs, all the objects, fields, everything. Okay. So this is Salesforce license, which is assigned to most of the employees of the company. Now again, when it comes to the users within Salesforce, there are two generic types. Internal users, which are actually the employees of the company, and external users. External users are actually customers of the company. Now, why are we creating users for customers? So Salesforce provides you a type of license with which you can build a community or website portal for your customers. So once you build community or portal like this, Salesforce data can be exposed over there on that portal so that customer can access it. Now, when customer tries to access that data over a portal, customer can register himself on the portal, and once customer register himself on a portal, for customer as well, we create user in Salesforce. So those users are called as external users. So that's the difference between internal user and external user. Internal users are the employees of the company who can directly access Salesforce the way we are doing now, and external users are customers of the company who can access some Salesforce information from portal. So knowledge only user license is the license which can be assigned to external users. So, because it gives limited access. This license gives access to only these things. Articles, okay. Chatter means it's a communicator within Salesforce. Files, home tab, profile, all the custom objects and custom tabs. If you see knowledge only user license doesn't give access to any standard objects like account, contact, opportunity, because these are the business object where you will be storing all the business related information. Knowledge only user license gives access to article management. You might have seen on a lot of portals, whenever you have any issues, you can go to the portal and try to find out the solution for your issues. So how the solution will be published over the portal? Through articles, right? So over the Salesforce portal, you can publish articles which can be useful for customers. That is the reason articles are accessible to customers. This is knowledge only user license. Any questions so far? Any doubt? Okay. So like this, we have lots of licenses, but not all of them are used. They are very rarely used. Salesforce is the widely used license, as I said, for internal users. Apart from Salesforce license, sometimes Salesforce platform license can also be used, because this gives access to few of the standard objects which are listed down over here. So it gives access to accounts, contacts, reports, dashboards, and documents and custom objects as well. Okay? But this license doesn't give access to standard objects like leads, campaigns, opportunities. So whenever you have a requirement where if any user wants to access only account and contact, then you can assign this Salesforce platform license to a user. So user license, it's a predefined license which decides what all features a user can access. Next one is profile. Based on the user license you select, you will be able to select profile, which means profile comes under user license. I generally say that profile is a subset of user license because profile comes under user license. So for every user license, you will see a list of profiles here, one or multiple profiles. Yeah. So as user license is not under our control because it's a license, we cannot make any changes. That is the reason Salesforce has provided us profile, which is under our control. We can manage profile easily, and with the help of profile, we can control the permissions of user. So even though user license gives lot of permissions to user, with the help of profile, we can manage or control the permissions of user. As an example, let's say uh, we create one user called as U1, and the license which we assign to a user is Salesforce license, let's say, which gives access to these features or permission. Let's say these 5 permissions A, B, C, D, E. And now under Salesforce license, let's say there is a profile P1. So within P1, you can manage all these permission A, B, C, D, E. So let's say this user U1 should be having only 3 permissions A, B, and C. So within profile P1, you can enable only A, B, and C permission. D and E permissions you can disable. So that is the reason I say profile is a subset of user license, and with profile you can manage or control permissions of user. Any questions so far?
No.
No.
All right. So this is how you can create user. On the user record itself, you have lots of other checkboxes which enables few permissions for a user, like marketing user. uh, if you enable marketing user permission for any user, then user can have access to campaign record. User can create campaigns and work on the campaigns. Similar way, there are lots of small permissions which you can manage under user object itself, but almost 90 to 95% of the permissions need to be managed under profile. Profile is a set of permissions. It has a lot of permissions in it: object level permission, field level permission, page layout permissions. All these permissions need to be managed under profile. We will go through one of the profiles in a while. Before that, we will have a look where exactly we can uh, see the user licenses. Like for any company, how many licenses are available, where can we keep a track of it? You will have this information available under company information. So we have a company settings. Under company settings, we have company information.
I don't think your mic is working.
No, I'm not speaking. The page
Oh,
was
never
loaded.
mind. Got it.
So yeah, the page is loaded now. So this is the company information section. So here we have the organization name, means our company name. You can give any name over here, and you can edit this information anytime you want. Then the primary contact person of the company, address of the company. So all the company information you can manage over here. The default language, the time zone, currency. It also shows how much data space is available for your Salesforce org, how much is used. So as it's a free developer edition account, we can store only up to 5 MB of data here, not more than that. And how many API callouts we have made shows all the details over here. And then similar to unique record ID, we will have unique organization ID also, like this. And then organization edition. So this is the free developer edition account. Apart from developer edition, we have lots of purchased editions also. I will show this purchased editions in a while. And then instance AP5. Instance means server name. Server name is AP5. AP stands for Asia Pacific. So as I am from India, when I created this developer edition for developer edition account for myself, a nearby instance or server is allocated for my Salesforce instance, which is Asia Pacific region. And the same instance name, you will find it over here as well in the URL AP5. And then the list of user licenses available for your company. So Salesforce licenses, you can see 2 licenses are available, out of which I have already used 2 and 0 are remaining. That is the reason if you here, when I am trying to create a new user in the user license list, I cannot select or find Salesforce license because it is already consumed. Now I cannot create any new user with Salesforce license unless the existing users with Salesforce license get deactivated. So similar to this, for all the other licenses, we see the total number of licenses, how many are used and how many are remaining. Any questions? Any doubt?
I am kind of lost in the last portion that you just discussed. Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
The user licenses part?
Yes. Like where you said that because of it's already 2, then we cannot have another one.
Yeah. So as I said, when you purchase Salesforce license for yourself along with Salesforce product license, you will be getting a package of user licenses as well. Like you will get around 100 Salesforce licenses, around
Uh-huh.
1,000 Salesforce platform licenses. So you have, so this list you can access over here. How many licenses are available for you? So total
Okay.
2 Salesforce licenses are available for me, as it's a free developer edition account. Out of these 2, it is saying use licenses are 2. It means in my Salesforce system, I have already created 2 users with Salesforce user license. And that is the reason now, whenever I create a new user, I can no longer use this Salesforce license. So now if you see, when I am trying to create a new user, Salesforce license doesn't appear because I have already consumed 2. Now there is no license left, Salesforce license. So it is not showing up here. Other licenses like Salesforce platform, if you see Salesforce platform, 3 available, out of which I have used 1 and 2 are available. That's the reason Salesforce platform license
So
is
you're gonna
available.
use platform instead of I see. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Any other question?
No.
Now I will show you the Salesforce editions. Okay. So this is for Sales Cloud. Okay. For every product, you have 4 types of editions: Essentials, Professional, Enterprise, and Unlimited. When you go from left to right, you can see the price increases. This is because you will get additional features when you go from left to right. So Essentials edition is a very basic edition with limited number of features. What are those features? You can go through it over here. Okay. Here is the features comparison. So this is the list of features, and whether you have these features in the edition or not, it is mentioned over here. You can go through this list to make yourself aware of the editions. So Essential is a very basic edition. Generally, the smaller companies or NGOs use Essential edition. Costing is less here, $25 per user per month, and it is billed annually. Same way, Professional edition, $75 per user per month, 150, 300. Unlimited edition has all the features. You will get a lot of data access also. A data storage limit is also more. This is the reason there is a difference in terms of costing. So based on your business needs and all, any company can decide which edition to go for, whether Essential, Professional, Enterprise, or Unlimited. Yeah. Any questions on this editions?
No.
No.
All right, I think we can stop here. In the next session, we will discuss profiles in detail, and then hopefully permission set as well. And then we will be going through sharing settings. Okay.
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 So as an assignment, as I said, keep going through what we are doing during the session. Once we cover security model topic, then I will be giving you assignments to work on. But till then, whatever we are covering during the session, just try to do it within your own Salesforce org.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, then have a good night. We'll
Thank
catch up
you.
tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.